In this demo, I'm going to show off an exciting new feature of VitalSigns known as PowerScripts. PowerScripts are a library of approved PowerShell scripts that can be executed directly from within VitalSigns. And PowerScripts can be run against servers, users, or mailboxes, and they run on Microsoft Exchange on-premise, Microsoft SharePoint on-premise, and Microsoft Office 365. What's cool about them is scripts execute using the stored credentials associated with a server, which the person running the PowerScript may not necessarily know. And only users with a PowerScripts role can use the features, and administrators don't really need to know anything about PowerShell to run a PowerScript. A key advantage of PowerScripts is risk mitigation, because unlike native PowerShell, administrators don't need high-level credentials to execute PowerScripts. The only credential they need is the right to run the script. And this matters because once you give somebody the credentials, they can execute any script, not just an approved one. So here's a typical example of PowerShell executing. The first thing that it does is prompt the user for a set of credentials. Now this is like giving somebody the keys to your house and saying, only go into the kitchen, but don't go snooping around in my bedroom or down in the wine cellar. When somebody runs PowerShell as a PowerScript, you also get a limitation of what they can do and an audit trail that shows you what they did and when they did it. Basically, PowerScripts transform PowerShell from something like this to something like this. And this gives you ease of use, auditability, and security of PowerShell, but within a managed framework of VitalSigns. You also get this great audit log, so you know exactly what they did. All right, so let's do a quick demo of this. So I'm starting off in my VitalSigns dashboard, and let's say I want to do something with SharePoint. I'll just click on the SharePoint button. That will bring up the server list of all the SharePoint servers, and I can see their status. I'm going to click on this one. Of course, you have the overall status, and VitalSigns is great for monitoring and doing health checks and that kind of thing, but we're not going to show that right now. We're just going to look at PowerScripts. Here's the PowerScripts tab, and I've got a list of all the scripts that I could run against. So let's say I want to do a health check script against this SharePoint server, but of course, if you have a library of PowerShell commands that you've developed for your organization, you can upload those and make them available to a wider audience. So I'm going to pick the health check script, push the execute button, and what happens is in the background, VitalSigns is retrieving a set of credentials for the SharePoint server, creating a session in PowerShell, and then executing the script. And then when the script finishes, the results of the output of that PowerShell script will show up in this output window here. So wait for it. Here it comes. All right, output from PowerShell. So here's the name of the computer that we ran it on, site name, and then here's all the different tests that are part of that PowerShell commandlet. So, you know, a rule about customized fields and missing galleries and parent content types and site templates and blah, blah, blah. Whatever the script does, it just runs in the background and gives you the results. So how many tests passed, how many tests failed, and so forth. Now you can also run PowerScripts for Exchange on-prem. So let me just switch over here and say Exchange. This gives me a list of all my Exchange servers. I'll click on that. Again, you see a PowerScripts tab. I'll go over there, and we've got a different set of PowerScripts for Exchange. So if I wanted to do something like get information about the queues, just push the button and run that, and the output comes back. Okay, so here we've got the shadow queue, the submission queue, and the unreachable queue. It's the same basic idea. Anything you can do in PowerShell, you can do in the context of PowerScript. The other place where you can do it separate from individual servers is over here under key metrics. We've got key metrics for Exchange mailboxes and users, and we have key metrics for Office 365 mailboxes and users. So we'll just pick Exchange on-prem. You just pick a mailbox. We'll pick on Annabelle here, click the button, and up comes scripts related to mailboxes, like moving a mailbox to another database, or increasing the person's quota by 10%, or setting it to a specific value. Or if you want to go over to Office 365, we'll do that. Key metrics, Office 365 mailboxes and users. Same basic idea, except these scripts are specific for Office 365. So pick a mailbox, pick a script. So like you might not want to have inbox rules or mail forwarding rules. You can turn those on, turn them off, get information about the mailbox, find out who has access to it, so forth. And finally, over on users, you can do the same kind of thing. So let's say an end user has multi-factor authentication and lost their phone, so they can't get the secondary authentication. And you need to turn that off temporarily so the person can get their mail. And of course, you know, it's an emergency and it has to be done right away. Well, typically that's a big risk in Office 365 because only the administrators with the highest level of administration rights can do that, and that also gives them the rights to do other things as well. Here what you can do is just pick the user, click on PowerScripts, select the script, disable multi-factor authentication, and run it or enable it, and we would know exactly who did it, which mailbox they did it against, and what the result was. I'm not going to run that right now. But let me just zip over to the configurator where we have Microsoft settings, and I'll just show you the audit log. Here we are, just sort it by date. Here's the two ones I did as part of this demo. Did a health check on SharePoint, and I looked up the message queues in Exchange. So you can even double click and find out even more thing about it. Who was the user? That was me, admin1. And here was the output from the PowerShell. So in summary, PowerScripts are super flexible and they're super powerful, and they save you risk, and they provide an audit trail where none would otherwise exist. Thank you for watching.